thing can also exist in a superposition, a combination of these things, and it's a perfectly valid configuration. And you use that.
All right, and to back onto the lesson, okay? Everyone take your break, okay? We'll talk about superposition. This is superposition. This here, right? That's superposition, okay? And that just equals 0, right? Because we make that data redundant and we set it to a data disk sheet, right? And in which that we'll have that data disk sheet equal 0 unless we want it to equal 1, right? And in which that we'll have it equal something, right? But then that'll likely still equal the same outcome, all right?
That's the kind of property that you use in building a quantum computer. You can also then ask the question, well, what happens if I get another one, two electrons together? These can be in what's called an entangled state.
Right, and that kind of comes into, like, if we can break this equation down now. This is actually where it gets kind of fun, right? Because that's when we talk about how now we have a positive one or a negative one, right? Like, this is the most interesting thing. That's why when I always write down this, I will always add this on it. I'll always do PEMDAS till the fucking day I die, all right? Anyway.
So then you have a much richer structure of this physical system. So an example of an entangled state, a very famous thing called a Bell state, would be...
Or we can call it Einstein-Rosen bridging. We can just call it we can just call it entangled state. We call it 10,000 things, really.
Where you set these things up. So the system of these two qubits, let's say they're up and down, these spins, right?
Right.
So I can have the state up, down, plus, down, up.
That's right. And then that's kind of what I did here, right? See, I ain't retarded. Anyway.
Like that. A complete description of this state. Up, down, plus, down, up. What does that mean? So let's say I take one of these electrons and I separate them. It's a very famous paper written by Einstein, Podolsky, and Rosen that first considered this in the 1930s. And they get very upset by the behavior.
I've got no life.
So we've got a system, a state, and it's up, down, plus, down, up.
I can't believe you know, see, like, I'm just saying, like, you know, it's not that it's discredited or devalued. It's just that, like, you know, someone has to pay me.
Let's say. And I separate these electrons. I take one
or house me or something.
I take one to, let's say, to Pluto, you know, and leave one on planet Earth, right?
Yeah, I've got to be a 30-year-old adopted man.
And then, so